Not sure how to start this video or anything, but I'm sitting here and I was just thinking, well, I'm not comfortable talking to a camera, so it's like, I don't make videos, so. But I'm going to just say this. I was watching, I feel so weird looking at myself. Anyway, I was watching, on Netflix, I was watching Leah Remini. I think that's how you say her name. And she was talking about Scientology, right? And this lady who used to be a spy for Scientology finally came out, and, she put it in a show. And she said, she was told by her boyfriend that once you come out public, you have to look over your shoulder the rest of your life. And Leah leaned in and said, well, whatever you do, make it public. So I said, oh, wow, she gave me an idea. So that gave me an idea, because I've been through some things. And, Scientology is not the only people, they're not the only people on the planet that target people. There are tons of different organizations out there who will do the same thing. And I can think of, I know I have been targeted. So I just wanted to put some of that out here. Like she said, make it public. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it public. Okay, Leah. It's just very unnerving for me, because I'm, the funny thing is, I feel like somebody's watching me all the time, no matter what I do, no matter where I go. So I don't know why I'm uncomfortable talking into this camera. I don't know, but I am, because, it's different. It's different than, somebody's in the watching you or something and you feel it. It's quite different. But I don't even know how long I should make this video, but I'm just going to go until I'm done. I'm not even going to edit it. I'm just going to put it out there. So any mistakes, oh well. And I'm very self-conscious about looking at myself too. So I'm sitting here staring at myself, trying not to stare at myself. That's why you see me looking off. Like, I don't want to look at me. I'm not that pretty. So anyway, I just wanted to give some story or some background on some of the things that I've been through. And it might be kind of all over the board, because the ones that stick out to me the most are when my daughter was older. There were some things before that too as well. And I believe that it was Walmart that did it. But I don't know. I can't prove it, because I work for them and they gave me a lot of problems when I was working there. So, and I've worked for Walmart and Sam's Club at different times. Way back in the beginning, I pissed somebody off. Don't know how, don't know why, but it caused a really bad work relations with everybody there. And like, I remember one time I worked overnights, and I walked out to my car and my lights were on. Well, when I went to work, the sun was up. So there was no reason for me to turn on my lights. It was not that kind of car where the lights just come on. Some cars have that feature. This car didn't. It was a very old car. So, I don't know. One time I went to a doctor's office. I came out and I had my badge on a lanyard, and I had it on the rear view mirror, and it was fine when I got out of the car. When I got back in the car, someone had slashed it, and it was almost cut all the way off, and kind of a slant way slash. That's a very clear message that it's Walmart. I can't prove this either, but I think somebody hired somebody to run me off the road. When somebody says that a white van cut them off, but then they come back at you into your front part, and their wheel is on your, the front part of your car, and they're banging you back they're trying to bang you into traffic. That sounds kind of like they're trying to kill you or just wreck your car. I don't know which. But the girl was really young, and I don't think she knew what she was doing, because it didn't move. My car didn't budge. It just kind of bumped. But she had hit me from behind in my right passenger side and rear end, and it was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was devastated over my car. I finally had my uncle just kind of put some wire on it and, hold on the back bumper. And that was about it. And it was still drivable. But the insurance company wouldn't pay me. It wasn't even my fault. There was a police officer there, and he didn't believe me that she had hit me. I had already had an accident on the driver's side passenger, or the driver's side rear, I should say. And so, she knocked my door handle off. And when I told him this, he was like, I don't believe you. And I was like, well, you got to come see the car. And he wouldn't do it. And I was like, what's wrong with this guy? He was an off-duty police officer. And he just rolled up. It was just weird. And then when I turned around, there's the first responders, and there's the ambulance, and they're running up to me going, do you need any need to go to the hospital or anything? I'm like, no, I'm fine. I just got shook up. And anyway, it was so stupid. And the insurance company wouldn't pay for my car. It was bizarre, And my insurance company was asking me, did you do this on purpose? Like, did you purposely have this wreck? I'm like, why would you ask me such a thing? It was just all bizarre. Like they were trying to put me in jail or something like. And I'm like, I'm the one who got hit. This girl hit me from behind and then comes and hits me from the side. And you're asking me why would I do that to my car? It's the other company that's going to have to pay for it. And they wouldn't do it. So I remember sitting in the break room and just crying because I was like, how am I going to get to work? That's what I kept thinking. And my boss, it was really weird because my boss, it's almost like he felt sorry for me, I guess. And so he picked me up from work for a couple of days until my car got fixed. It was horrible. So anyway, sorry, I'm nervous because this thing is weird. Anyway, I'm not used to talking to cameras, and I feel like I don't even look right. Like I don't feel like I look good enough to be on camera. I guess it kind of puts something in your mind when you see people on camera and they're all polished and everything, and here I am all a hot mess, and I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I would do this. I don't know if I'm going to put this video up or the next one, but I have other things like my neighbors in this one neighborhood. They were like harassing me. And they were telling me, oh yeah, we're going to get you fired. We know your boss. We know how much money you make. And and we're going to get you kicked out of this house. And they knew I had a little girl. My little girl was like 9 or 10. And you're going to kick out a single mother with her child onto the street. Why would you do that? What did I do? It couldn't have been that bad. You're the one picking on me. I came in here ignoring you, and you guys were all over me like white on rice. Like, the only thing you knew is that I had the housing authority. They were paying like maybe $50 for my house. So it's not like they were contributing a whole lot to everything. But even if they had fired me, I still would have been able to pay my rent because I had my husband's death benefits. My daughter and I both had a check from that. So it's not like, I don't think they knew I had that. That was kept from them, luckily. And they would come in my house. I saw where they had stuck a little hole into my lock and unlocked the other side. They came in my house and destroyed my house. I had my doors. I had to lock some of the doors. Like I put a, I can't remember what those things are called, but you put it up under the door handle and you can't, kick in the door. So I put it on the back door so nobody could go in the back door. That's why they went in through the front door and put this little hole in my door, drilled a hole in my door. And they just I had 2 dogs, and the dogs just destroyed my house. Or I guess they let them out or whatever, or let them into my stuff. I mean, stuff that they couldn't have gotten into because it was in the cabinet. I mean, I know dogs can get in there, but they have to be interested in it. It wasn't treats. They weren't treats. They was my personal stuff in the bathroom. So I don't know why the dog would be interested in dragging that stuff out. So I called the police, and they were like, well, it looks like the dog. I said, my personal stuff? These dogs are not going to be interested in my personal stuff. And the way that the couch was cut up, it didn't look like the dogs did it because these dogs had never done that. My couch looked like somebody took a knife to it. And, the police officer was like, I don't know. So I left the dogs outside, right? And it was warm. It wasn't too cold or too hot or anything like that. So I left the dogs outside, and they coaxed one of them over the fence. And this was a Labrador. This Labrador was so docile and so sweet. And they coaxed this dog out of the fence and called the pound, and they came and got my dog. They did, and then my other dog jumped the fence, and this girl, she screamed at the dog and hit it, and it tried to bite her. It nipped at her because she really wasn't a biter. She just, and then they called the pound and said that they had to take it away. I said, don't you know what the law is? The law is that you can't take the dog away because it was enticed. It doesn't matter if it's on my property or someone else's property. The dog was, provoked. And she didn't do anything. The girl had a scratch from her paw. And then I had, one time a police officer had come to my house for something, for an incident, and my dog was just jumping. She's part Labrador, not part Labrador, I'm sorry, it's the spotted dog. Because she's a little bit hyper. So she's, She would have made a great show dog, by the way. Um, it's the one that's always associated with the fire department, the Dalmatians. Okay, so anyway, she's a part Dalmatian, and she was jumping on this police officer, and he said, "If you don't get that dog away from me, I'm going to shoot it right in front of my daughter." Like, what? It's the most horrible thing in the world. And so, I mean, those were the earlier things. Being harassed at work, being harassed wherever I go in different little ways, and being harassed in my neighborhood. But that's just the start of it. So I come and I come to live in another apartment. And everything is fine in that area, in the 2 apartments that I had lived in Bixby. So everything was fine there. I didn't have a trouble. But then when I came to live back in Tulsa, weird things started happening again. One day I came home and all the lights in my apartment were on. I had 2 kittens. Excuse me. I had 2 kittens, and they were on the balcony, and the door was locked. And my air conditioner was turned down to the lowest point. And I was like, this is weird. So I talked to somebody, and they were like, well, it's probably, a maintenance issue or something. I said, well, I didn't put in a work order. I don't understand. And they were like, well, just go talk to the apartments. And I was like, okay. So I asked them, and they were like, well, we would know if somebody came in your apartment. And according to our records, nobody went in your apartment. And I said, well, that's good because I didn't put in a work order, but it's just odd what happened. And she said, well, it could be ghosts. And I was like, really? Ghosts? I don't think so. That's a weird thing to say to me, and I'm just like, I don't believe in ghosts. Except for the Holy Ghost. I'm not really into ghosts. So the next thing that happened was, and this is when the activity got even bigger. Well, no, wait. Before I get there, let me just say that I think prior to that, no, I think I did. That was the next thing that happened is I went to work. I think I was working. I think this was all the same time I was working for this trucking company. And the lady that was in HR was a lady that I worked with at Walmart at HR. She was the office manager of this place. And I would go into work, literally go into work, and these 2 women sitting behind me would be having a conversation between themselves, right? And what they were saying was almost like somebody had written them a script, exactly same word for word conversation that my daughter and I were having. Somehow they worked it around into a work conversation. I don't know how they did that. So the next day I would come back in and they would do the same thing. That's odd. So, I was supposed to answer the phones. They had phones on their desk, but they would race me to answer these phones. So I started answering the phone really, really, really fast. So fast that they stopped doing it. It was just strange. And then the other lady, she was like, well, aren't you wasting your potential being here? Isn't this kind of beneath you because you're a legal secretary? And I said, excuse me? And she goes, yeah, you studied to be a legal secretary? Isn't this kind of beneath you? And I was like, I never told you that I studied to be a legal secretary. In fact, I never discussed my resume with you at all. And she's like, oh, everybody knows it. I was like, what? What do you mean? Who is everybody and why do they know it? What does that mean? I mean, what are you talking about? And she's like, never mind. And so I was like, okay, that's strange. So one day my internet went out. And so I called the internet company and they came out, and he comes back and he says, I have a question for you. I said, yeah, what? And he said, do you have any bitter enemies? And I was like, no, not that I know of. Why? And he said, well, the box was broken into and we were going to have to replace the box. I put a sticker on it. I replaced your cable line in there, but this is all that's left of it. And he showed me this little piece of a cable that had been cut. And I said, well, was anybody else's cut? He said, nope, just yours. I was like, okay. Odd. So with all the stuff that was happening, like I would be literally walking past a bush, and I'd hear, Debbie. And I'd go, who's there? Who's there? Is this a joke? And then I'd hear, Debbie. And I'd be like, so I'd go check the bush, right? There's nobody in there. There's nothing in there. I can't find nothing. And I'm just like freaking out. So I'm like, am I losing my mind? Am I going crazy? I mean, so I went to my apartments and I said, hey, look, there's all this weird stuff happening. And they were like, well, we have another place that you can check out and you can go live there, and we'll let you move there. We have another complex. Here's the address. Here's the number. I was like, okay, sure. Well, before that happened, I was this is like one of the last days that I worked for that trucking company, and me and my daughter, we were just horsing around. I tickled her and she went, hey, like that. And I ran away. We were just playing around. And I hear in the parking lot, hey, my voice coming back or her voice coming back at us. So she was like, hey, wait. I want to see if I heard that right. I was like, what? Because I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if she heard it or if I actually heard it. So she said, wait a minute. Hey! And then we hear, hey! Come back from the parking lot. And I was like, here, let me try. And then I said something, and it came back at us, and it was my voice. And so we run to the window, and we're like, where's the people? Where are the people? Where's this thing? And we can't find it. There's nothing there. There's nobody there. And I'm just like, this is just so freaking weird. So I'm like, yeah, I think we better move. And so I go to this place, right, to check it out. On the way there, I get on the bus, and there's this guy. He's holding up his cell phone, right? And he's filming me paying my fare. And he's laughing, okay? And I'm thinking, okay, weird guy on the bus, right? The guy who's sitting right across to him has huge headphones. I mean, we're talking bigger than Dure's, okay? Almost like 80s headphones, all right? I mean, they're huge. And then there's a couple of people that are sitting right, a little bit a ways from him, but those seats are like facing forward, like into the aisle, or facing into the aisle. So I decided I'm going to go sit in the very back of the bus, and I'm going to face the front. And when I do, the guy who had been filming me, he still has his phone up, right? And he's looking at me, and then he gives me this mean face. Like he's mad at me now. Like, I don't know what the deal is. And he puts his phone away. He puts his phone away like that. I'm like, wow, is this a comedy? This guy's really weird. So I just chose to ignore him, right? Well, I sit in between these two people. The lady on my left, she's kind of a large woman. She has blonde hair. She has these earbuds in her ears, and she's singing all about that bass, almost really loud. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, my daughter just had a friend in our apartment who was staying the night, and she's kind of, if this wasn't her as an adult, that's what it would look like. And she had her earbuds in, and she was singing all about that bass. And I had to go, it was like 3 a.m, I had to go tell her to calm down, or be quiet, because, we have neighbors, even though it was summer for them. It was, other people still had to go to work. And she was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, it's okay. Just keep it down. That's all. And then the guy next to me, he has his cell phone, and he's got it up in the window where I can read it. Now, I had bad eyesight. If I had glasses, I would have been able to read every word. But I don't have glasses. So it was blurry to me. So I couldn't even read one word of it. But I thought, he probably wants me to read it. And I'm starting to think that there's something weird going on at that point. And so I really wanted to read it, but I wasn't sure what it said, And he's just texting away, right? I'm like, who texts somebody away like that where everybody in the world can see it's almost like he's telling me, I can see your text messages. I can see everything, that you see. I can see your phone. I can see, like they hacked me or something, right? Maybe that was the message. We are in your apartment. She's the message for that. We're videotaping you. That's the guy in the front. I don't know. And I'm starting to think that that's what's going on. So I get off the bus. And I walk to this, these apartments. And when I get in, when I go in there, there's offices like all around. And then there's in the middle there, in the foyer, there's seats and, coffee tables and stuff like that sitting on this rug. And there's this lady sitting in one of them facing the door. And when she sees me, she jumps up and she runs into the office and she hands them her ID real quick. And then I see another guy handing his ID. And then all of a sudden, all these people start filing out of the office. Like I'm about 15 people. And I'm thinking, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder what they were doing, maybe they were having some special thing for the tenants or something. But no, I go to give my ID and I find out that all these people are going to see the exact same apartment that I've come to see. And I'm just like, I have never been in a group going to see an apartment. I've been at a place where they have like an open house and there's a ton of people, but I have never been at an open apartment. It was new, It's like, okay, so we're all walking over there in this group, and I'm just like thinking to myself, this is the oddest thing in the world. Then we're inside and we're all bumping into each other trying to look at the place. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. It's very small. And this guy goes, I go back in the living room because I'm tired of bumping into everybody. And this guy says, oh, hey, is that alarm on the door or on the wall? Is that for just this place, or does it, do all these apartments have those? She says, and the leasing agent says, oh, no, that's for just this place. but I can get you one if you want one, and I can get you, 20% off or 25% off or something like that as an offer. And he said, okay. And he goes, by the way, this is a really nice place. So we go back to the office. Everybody gets their ID and files out. They're gone. I go over to get my ID, and I sit down and I go, hey, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute and tell you who I was and where I was from and why I was looking for an apartment. I don't know how many apartments you have available because you had a lot of people in here, and you have a lot of applications to go through. I'm thinking about not putting in an application. I'll just take the 25% off for that thing. And I said, by the way, that guy was right. You really do have a nice place here. They are nice apartments. And she said, thank you. And I left. And I go home. And a few days later, I get my my ADT system. Okay. So what happens? Oh yeah. I'm on the internet. I'm on YouTube, and I'm commenting under somebody who put a post up, or posted a comment. I'm commenting on their comment, and I noticed that there's this guy on there, and he's like a troll, right? He's like an atheist troll, because this was a religious video, and he's already commented where under this person, but I didn't think he would talk to me. Well, he started to talk to me, and I thought, okay, well, I'll talk to him. I don't really like talking to people that are trolls. I don't mind if you're an atheist, but if you're just trolling people, no. So then during the conversation, he says, oh, by the way, I heard you were moving to a really nice place. What? How did you hear that? I didn't say, and I looked back through my comments. I was like, did I say I was moving? No. Oh yeah, that guy said that, and I repeated it. But the funny thing is that she and I were the only ones in the room when I said that. The guy said it, but I don't know. These people might be weird. Maybe they're all part of something. I don't know. It's weird. So, and then when I was working at Walmart just here recently, I would have people walk up and just tell me things. Like, I can't really tell you exactly what it is, but it was like random things, but they were about me. It was like a secret message, like a coded message, like, and they would look at me like, you understand, right? I'm like, oh man, now I have to pretend like I don't understand. It's freaking me out. So I'm walking down the street, right? Sorry, this is just freaking me out. Just thinking about it. Okay, so I'm walking down the street. And I see all these couples walking down the street. I'm with my daughter, by the way. And they're holding hands, they're hugging, they're kissing. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's like too many of them. This is, like, I've never seen this many people as couples. Just what I thought, is this a couples therapy thing? What the hell is this? It's weird. So I told my daughter, I said, let's step into this parking lot over here and just kind of watch the parade. Just watch it. And so we step over there, and they're done. When they get done, I go, I think that's the last one, and look about both ways. Yeah, nobody else is coming. So in back of this last couple. I don't know where everybody goes. Like, they just totally disappear. It's just weird, okay? So they disappear, and then we're walking and we're approaching this gate that is now locked, though, because I live on this side of town again, just further down. But it's locked now, but it wasn't then. And so they walk into the gate that goes into our apartment complex, and I walk in behind them, and I'm just like, why are they walking in here? So I said something stupid. I don't know if it's stupid or not, but I thought it was funny too. I thought at least I would get a laugh. And I said, and they kissed, and I said, "Aw, she ain't love grand." Stupid. Okay. But anyway, I just thought it was funny because I'm sitting here watching all these people do all these weird things. And then these people walk into my apartment complex, and I'm thinking they live there. And the guy turns around and he gives me the dirtiest look, the same look that guy did on the bus. And I'm just like, I'm confused. I'm like, oh, what did I do? Is it that bad, really? Somebody tell me, is that really that bad? Is that horrible? I don't know, maybe it is. But he kept giving me a dirty look. He wouldn't stop. And they're walking over to a car to leave. They don't even live there. I do. And I'm thinking, dude, I live here. You don't. Why are you giving me these dirty looks? You know, what gives? You know, you guys were walking up and down the street doing weird things. I mean, you weren't just one couple. You were like 15 couples. What's that about? You know? I heard this is like street theater, but I don't get it. Kind of went over my head. I don't know. So, and I forgot about this. Before, and I never told my mom or anybody about this because I knew I'd probably make them upset. So, like, before I had internet, my daughter had to do her homework, right? So they allowed us to use the Wi-Fi that was coming from the office. And we would go, like, okay, so like how this worked is you have the office there, and there's a door that goes out to this foyer. To your right is another door that goes out to the pool. To your left, there's bathrooms on either side. You go walk down here, but there's also a door that goes into a workout room, and another door that goes into the laundry room, and then another door that goes out to the outside. So you can come in that door over there at night. That's where you put your key fob and come in the door. Well, I had to go to the house, or to the apartment actually, to get something. So I left my daughter there to do her homework. She was sitting in the workout room. And so I was on my way back to this workout room, and I look up and I see this car coming. And it looks just like my aunt who had died in 2011. And we're here in 2013, 2 years later. And she looks at me and she smiles just like my aunt did. I mean, she looks identical to my aunt. That is not funny, people. That's not, I feel like that was done just for me. I don't know why, but my aunt died of cancer. And, it was very traumatic for our family. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to put anything else personal out there for my mom's sake. Anyway, in case she sees this video, because I don't want to upset her. But yeah, that's just weird. And then I think at the same time, there were these people that were put up to, like, my daughter was in modeling class and she was learning how to put on her makeup and everything. And her best friend wanted to, she wanted to put on her makeup for her one day, and my daughter being very nice, she was like, okay. And she didn't know how to do it. So my daughter puts on her makeup on her, really nice, really pretty. And this girl puts it on so thick and weird. It's almost like a clown. And she knew it. And it's how nice my daughter is. She walked around in it, just didn't say anything to the girl. Didn't say anything to her because it was like, I don't want to be mean to her. She doesn't know what she's doing, but I'm not going to, put her down for it. I'm just going to walk around in it, be nice, be for a day, then go wash it off and, whatever. This lady said to my daughter that she was trying to troll on her son who was in his 20s. And my daughter, without putting out any other information, wouldn't do that. There's reasons. And she's very insecure, okay? So I confronted the wife of this person because this lady was saying that my daughter was a whore. She would look like a whore. Her makeup was on like a whore. And I said, you have no idea that her friend put that makeup on her. And they were watching her little brother, her best friend's little brother, and his friend play football with your husband and his best friend. That's why they were there. They weren't there for your husband. And to call a 13-year-old little girl who's very insecure a whore and da-da-da-da-da is just so inappropriate and wrong. My daughter was not like that. She still is not like that. So I got up in this lady's face and I told her some things. And when I said, who told you to say that? She looked to her right and was looking at someone. And I looked and I could not see them because they were behind. It was somewhere, I think they were in a car. Yep. Trolling a 13-year-old. That is sick. My daughter would go to school and people she did not even know would stop in the middle of the hall, point at her and say, that's her. I remember she was bullied so badly. She came home from school. She fell on her face on the floor and said, and cried. And in a squeaky little voice, she was like, I hate school. She couldn't stand it. And she just bawled her head. It just broke my heart to see her hurting that way. And there was nothing I could do about it. And so I know she's been told she's not black. People just stopping in their cars and saying, you aren't black. You ain't black. Just ignorant stuff, mean stuff. I can't believe this video is so long. But the last thing that happened to me that I remember is I was walking down the street, down 71st Street. I was going back to my apartment and somebody shot something in my leg. I felt it. I dropped my stuff and grabbed my leg, my lower leg. And I look up and I see this station wagon. It's an old station wagon. And I see the window down. It's a cold day. Okay, I had on a coat. My daughter had on a coat. This window is down all the way. This woman looks like she has a blonde wig on, big sunglasses, and like a tan overcoat. And I get home and my daughter and I are looking at my leg and she goes, "Mom, you have a red dot on your leg," right in the place that I felt the pain. So we take a picture of it. I used to have a screenshot of that conversation with that guy too. This guy's from California. I'm like, dude, how do you know what's going on in Oklahoma? It's weird. Like somebody had to have messaged that guy. They had to have been monitoring my screen, or they hacked his computer too and put the message in there. I don't know which, but I've come into this apartment here and I have seen the lights on when I know I turned them off. So things have started again. But I still feel like there's somebody listening to me all the time or watching me all the time. And I talk to them and I know it seems kind of like I'm crazy, like that's crazy, but it's the way I cope with it. I do not agree with it. I don't condone it. This is the only way I can cope with this. And so, anyway, it's just, all of that just freaks me out. I've seen some weird things too. And I don't know if it's just my eyes or what it is, but I have seen some very, very strange things. And, I don't know. Just these, I don't know. I have some theories. Maybe I'll do another video about that, but this is, literally people doing something to me. And then it's almost like I like somebody and I end up stalking them and I don't mean to. It's like, that's not my intention. It's just, so I have to stop myself at some point. Like, what am I doing to this person? I'm harassing them. And if I like them, I wouldn't make them uncomfortable. So, because I don't want to be uncomfortable. It's like I catch myself and I have to force, and then it's almost like they're forcing me to go back and do it. And I'm like, man, I don't want to. I'm already embarrassed. So, anyway, that's this video, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.